Well, I just can't wait to be Sing King. Every movie ever made with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. Welcome to Sync Floyd, the podcast where we do just that. My name is Gareth Blackler, and I'm picking them up and I'm raising them in the air above all animals. It's my co-host, James Barron. Hello, James.
Hi, it's me, the little lion cub. I'm so cute and adorable. I'm the one that everyone follows on the podcast. I'm the future generation. Does that mean you're my mentor? My mentor mandrill?
Yeah, okay. I've always been your mentor mandrill.
Oh, I like that dynamic. Okay.
I'm shocked this is the first episode where you've called me as such. I've been, pushing for that. Every time we take a break on the show, I'm like, you haven't called me your mental mandrill all episode.
Yeah,
I record every episode dressed as a baboon, and you do nothing about it.
Well, that can't be helped. I'm the plucky young upstart cub, and you're the wise old monkey who takes care of me when I've lost my way, Gareth. Because this week it's The Lion King, 1994, undisputably one of the best movies ever made.
Absolutely, yeah.
Widely regarded as a fantastic flick, one of Disney's best, I would say, as well.
Yeah, would this be your favorite Disney movie?
Oh, man, that's a tough call, honestly, because they do have a lot of bangers. Pixar movies notwithstanding, do they have to be, straight up Disney joints?
Yeah, straight up Disney joints. And not obviously, when we say Disney movies, we mean the Disney musical cartoons that we're all under the understanding that they fall into the same, bracket, but no one's ever told me, Marvel doesn't count, or Touchstone Pictures don't count. It's all,
I would say it's definitely up there as probably my number one. There are quite a few other ones that I enjoy. It's tough discounting Pixar because I feel like that's sort of where Disney's moved into these days. Getting a lot of that joining there has brought them a lot of power, I would say.
Yeah. Although they're moving out very well into their own world again.
It's true.
I'm the last person to tell you that Encanto is amazing, but moi.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's probably the best of the original Disney classics lineup, I would say. Lion King's number one. There's I don't know, Pinocchio, Dumbo, those ones, 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, yeah.
Cinderella. Beauty and the Beast's another banger, I would say. Probably.
Same kind of era as well.
Yeah, 90s. Probably my number two, I would say. But yeah, it's definitely critically regarded as a fantastic film, I would say, with few detractors.
It kicked off what people call the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah.
And it's also, this is something I've overheard. I'm not confident enough to say this to someone who really understands theatre, but apparently Broadway in the 90s was real rough because all the good composers got snatched up by Disney to make movies like this.
Oh, yeah. Soundtrack in particular in this is, off the chain.
Oh, yes.
So many fantastic songs to the point where they've, extended out beyond the history of the film. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Being taking on a will of its own, I would say, outside of this movie. Just a whole bunch. Even the Circle of Life intro is so iconic. Man, it's just chock full of bangers, start to finish. So,
and it's only 6 songs or something, 7 songs.
Yeah.
Which, so I had the Lion King cassette. And
nice.
Yeah, banger after banger, but it's only the first half of the musical numbers, and the second half is just Hans Zimmer's score.
Oh, yeah.
Which, honestly, I'm pretty sure we listened to that half just as much. This is one of his, this is one of my favorite Hans Zimmer scores by a long mile.
It's really good, yeah.
Yeah.
But we ain't hearing any of that. We replaced it all with 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Band, by the way, recently back. Hot news on the pod. Recent reformation, briefly for a protest song, which, like, for Ukraine and what's going on there. Pretty cool that they're that they're back. I'm expecting to see some kind of spike in relevance for our show. We've been playing the long game.
We won't know what to do with that.
I have no idea. Yeah.
We will beef that immediately.
If you're a new listener, welcome. We won't be covering that new Pink Floyd song, at least not for a while. But but cool. Welcome to the fold, and I hope you enjoy this weird show. We sync every movie ever made with the Dark Side of the Moon. Let's talk about that now, Gareth, shall we? With this movie, The Lion King.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quick aside. Lion King, first movie I ever saw in theaters.
Oh, wow. Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure when it just came out as well, like 94, I got taken by my dad.
Lucky.
Got to eat sour worms. Very strong memory of those.
Wow.
And
Very cool.
I'll be adding in some of the color commentary I provided as a child. As an adult now on this podcast.
As colourful as those sour worms, I imagine.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Oh my God. I didn't see this in the cinema, but I do remember owning it on VHS and the VHS being incredibly well loved. It had a red container. Red is the African plane.
It did.
And it would just set it aside as the best of the VHSs among our collection, I remember. It had its own thing going. And definitely well watched, well leafed through to the point where the VHS got pretty badly damaged by us like rewinding and replaying this over and over again. So there you go.
Did you ever see The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride?
I think I did once. I don't remember it at all. But I know for a fact that it's nowhere near as good.
Yeah, it's that beautiful Disney era of make with the classic generation-defining, genre-defining too, movie, and then just churn out some direct-to-video sequels. It does have a complete and utter banger with a song about how the other animals don't like this one lion, and it's like... it's got like a rhino singing like deception, disgrace.
Well,
it's
that's
so
good. I'm on board with that.
Shout out to that rhino, and shout out to a girl in our high school music class who like rearranged that song on piano and performed it for us.
Wow.
So cool.
Man, good memories.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. No, I've not seen it at least in a while, so I don't know. As far as I'm aware, they aren't canon. So we aren't going to be, at least not on this podcast. So
yeah.
I
feel like we should lay the table of all the different Lion King uncanon versions, because I feel like they're all going to get in some way mentioned. Did you see the 2019 quote-unquote live-action Lion King?
No. So I actively refused to watch it. I went and saw the Jungle Book remake in live action, and I believe that after that they did the Beauty and the Beast as well. And Beauty and the Beast, not bad, honestly, in terms of live action remake. Jungle Book, also okay. Thing about it is, it didn't need to happen. None of them feel necessary, and they sort of feel like they're just like a huge waste of money, and that they're retelling the same story in a like less inspiring and interesting way. The CGI really takes away a lot of the charm. And for The Lion King especially, where all the characters are animals, and for the remake, they're all CGI photorealistic animals speaking to each other. It doesn't have anywhere near of the same heart to it. And so, I haven't seen it because I kind of don't want to. I don't think it would... I feel like it might ruin the story for me in a way, ruin the magic of this original. So...
See, the thing is, it's kind of Disney's 2019 story in a nutshell, is it's so worried about ruining your... quote-unquote ruining your childhood, that it takes no risks and falls completely into, like, why does this exist territory, a la Star Wars Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it. I think I saw it on my birthday. And I'm such a Lion King stan that for me it was like if I got to go see a Pink Floyd cover band. Like, yeah, play the exact notes exactly how I remember them. Why not? I'm going to have a good time.
That's fine.
Yeah, it took no risks. Nobody really, like, no shade on the, like, amazing actors and performers they got in it. No one was trying except for Billy Eicher as Timon, who put in, like, four movies worth of effort.
Hell yeah.
He was improvising, he was, like, nailing the singing, he's coming up with, like, alternate lines.
Billy on the
street.
And
his little meerkat is so cute. Yeah, Billy on the Pride Lands.
Yeah. Oh, mate, shout out to the boy then. Good on him for putting in the effort, putting in the work. But
it was like if I saw a Pink Floyd cover band and, like, their second drummer, the guy, like, just doing the cymbals and the weird percussion was, like, crushing it.
Yeah.
That's the vibe. Yeah.
Throwing in some fills that have you going like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. That's cool. And everyone else is just playing exactly what you hear on the CD. You're like, okay.
They're all dressed as Pink Floyd and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're just the same.
Yep. This sure is just a recreation of Pulse.
Yeah. Wow, shot for shot, just a couple more, like, animal shots. This metaphor's getting confusing, but speaking of live, have you seen The Lion King on Broadway?
No, I would love to, though. It's like, from what I've heard about the Broadway Lion King show is that they had some fantastic, like all the set design and costume stuff was really, really impressive. I've seen some of that background behind the scenes kind of stuff. I haven't seen the show. But yeah, from what I hear, that's pretty good. So
that is like, that has a purpose of existing, is because it's done with these amazing puppets and costumes.
It's a different medium, like, entirely, really, which I guess what the CGI thing is also doing, but, like, it's interesting in telling the story in a different way, right? Like, having it like this sort of performed and with the puppets, it has another layer of charm, a similar layer of, like, artifice that an animated feature has from the 90s, you know?
I wonder, is there anything less, like, more thankless than being a CGI animator? Because, like...
Yeah, true.
Like, there's no doubt what they did for The Lion King 2019 was amazing. But, like, everyone is just so unimpressed and they all just want to point out when it's bad. It's like going to a magic show and just trying to figure out how they do every trick.
Well, the thing about it is, right, like, it's not the CGI's fault that the recent Lion King failed. Is that because it was uninspired to begin with. Like, as you say, they aren't trying to do anything new or interesting. They're just retelling the story with, like, a different animation style, which, sure, fine, that's okay. And from what I can tell, the CGI isn't bad. It's not like
not
it looks like awful. In fact, most of them, like, genuinely do look photorealistic, which is very, very difficult
really
to do.
Yeah.
So, like, as far as, like, a technical showing, it's very impressive and very good. And, like, from, like, the CGI should be applauded. But, like, as a concept, like, for a film, it's just so grossly unnecessary. The Lion King holds up so well today. Like, there's literally no reason to remake it. You know, it's pointless. It would be if they remade The Lion King and were like, hey, why are we doing this at any point? People would have shot it down. You know, there was clearly no one saying, what are we doing? No one asking if it was a good idea. They were just like, yep, we got to do it. We got to renew the license. Got to keep it going. Disney money, baby. That's it. Like, it's very sad. It's a sad story, I think. But.
Yeah. But speaking of long, complicated endeavors, where at any point if someone had asked, why are you doing this? And we've all fallen down. Should we do our podcast?
Let's do it, man. Let's jump on in. Oh, God. Here we go. Opening title, Speak to Me, etc. You know the drill. Big Disney logo, Disney Castle coming on in Disneyland. I don't, like, it's just the Disneyland castle, right? This isn't from something. Is it supposed to be the, like, Cinderella's castle? Like, where she goes to the ball? I don't really know. Like, is it exist outside of, like, the Disney canon? as like...
And what came first, the logo or the Disneyland castle?
I don't
it
know,
doesn't
right?
exist in anything else.
Yeah. It's hard. I don't. I'd have to do some research into the history of that. But if you know, let us know, listeners.
Yeah, that's the best kind of research. Someone just telling us.
Please. Oh, the easiest. So this movie has a truly iconic intro with the sun rising over the African plain, and the intro with the song "The Circle of Life" coming in. There's just like this African call. Like the lyrics in African coming in, it's just so powerful and so awesome. All the animals gathering for the birth of the king's son. They're gathering at Pride Rock, which is this awesome looking edifice of stone. Yeah, it's sweet. It just as an intro, like I feel like it's one of the most iconic intros to a film of all time, easily. Like.
Yeah.
You instantly get this, like, watching it back for the podcast, I was like, I had my like heart in my throat as soon as I heard that like opening call. The like, oh, Savannah. I was like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Movie rips.
Yeah. It's such a weird intro for a kid's movie as well. No dialogue for the first 4 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Just watching animals get summoned. It's as you're saying it, it does feel very 90s. Like, there was a 90s kind of eco vibe. Like, I have a strong, strong memory of a music video that would play after the cartoons on Saturday mornings. And all it was like cool nature shots and like essentially drum and bass. And it was like kids were just eating it up because we were like, yeah, this is what we want. Animals.
Animals are sweet.
Animals are sweet. It's like Sync Floyd review.
It's one of the coolest things about Earth is that we have like a million different animals and all of them are awesome. Like,
hell yeah, brother!
It's like it's such like a contrived and like kid-like thing to think about, but like it's definitely transportative to be like thinking about, man, animals are fucking cool. It's like being a kid and being obsessed with dinosaurs as a concept, being like, oh yeah, these massive lizards used to roam the Earth before people were around. Like, that as a concept is fantastic. And this movie taps into that same kind of thing. Like Jurassic Park taps into the dinosaurs are awesome and are real and cool. Lion King taps into that same thing as being like, animals are sweet. Like, they've got their own world going on. And we're just like around that. It's so cool. It's very fun.
Dinosaurs are cool is just a subgenre of animals are cool as well. Like,
for sure.
Oh, man. You're so right. And especially kids' movies. That's why Finding Nemo will always be more successful than Shark Tale, is Finding Nemo is interested in showing you animals.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, whereas Shark Tale is like, this is essentially people, but we've turned them into, we've made them a little scaly.
You are so right. Shark Tale is not at all interested with its setting. Like, and Finding Nemo is like all about its setting. It's saying like the sea is this impossibly huge place full of adventure and like strange and interesting creatures. And like, imagine having to explore that to like tell this like father-son story. Very simple, but like very, very effective in both endeavors. Shark Tale's like, hey man, what if the mafia was a thing? And it's like, okay, sure. Why does that have to be underwater? I don't know.
Yeah.
We just, it's whatever Pixar are doing, so let's do it too. Anyway. That's a whole
Animals
other beef.
Are Cool is going to be the Sync Floyd merch. I just want to make tie-dyed shirts that say Animals Are Cool. If you want one, email syncfloydpod@gmail.com.
Hell yeah.
And I'll figure out how to make you one. Like, this is an actual guarantee.
That's rad, yeah.
Like, I think you'll have to reimburse me, please.
You do have to pay for the merch. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to pay for the merch, but it'll happen. It'll be custom. Even if one person from the other side of the world emails us about it.
We'll send you a shirt. Happen. Here we go. Awesome. That's a Sync Floyd promise. Okay.
Yeah, that's a Gareth T.
Back to the film.
T-shirt. Yeah.
A Gareth T. God. So yes, it's a triumphant like celebration of the birth of this son. It's like very, regal times. We've got, of course, Breathe rolling in over this, and we are introduced to a few characters. We don't really get their names here, but here they are. Zazu, who's a little hornbill bird. I always thought he was like a toucan, but that doesn't make sense for Africa. He's in fact a hornbill. He flies on in to see Mufasa and Sabiri, I think is his mum's name. Yeah, Sarabi, sorry.
Sarabi, yes.
They've had their child, Simba, and the like wise old mandrill Rafiki comes in and like lifts him up as like part of this. He like anoints him with some like fruit and then like lifts him up. It's very like, ritualistic and
it's
cool.
Interesting that this idea like didn't exist at one point. The idea of lifting an animal up over all the animals to be like, here is your future king.
Yeah.
Like, unless this has come from something deep in their research for the movie, but like, it's such an iconic image. It's like how at some point the song Hey Ya didn't exist. Like, it's wild to imagine that. And it's wild to imagine, like, the writer's room when they were like, and then Rafiki's going to lift Simba up over Pride Rock.
And everyone's going to bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, surely someone in the room was like, that's not going to become one of the most iconic images in cinema. What are you doing?
Right.
But it did.
It's so good. It's an incredible intro, and like it ends with the title drop of the movie as like Rafiki is like holding them up. Like we get like a wide shot of the whole like gathering of animals. And then just like black screen with the Lion King title drop here. That in of itself is like the perfect short film. It's really, really good. You could just title that The Lion King and release it and everyone would be like, holy crap, that's good. So
yeah, honestly. This is what the remake should have been, is just that, to show off like how cool you can animate and how cool animals are.
It would have been sweet, yeah, if the remake of The Lion King that they did was just this intro. Would have been perfect. Everyone would have been like, that's rad. That's so cool that Disney made that. But they don't need to remake the whole film, you know?
Yeah, just play it like before one of your more inventive movies.
Exactly.
Just make it and play it before Encanto, and it's a perfect birthday for Gareth Blackler.
You had it there for you, but never mind.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's right.
From here, we go into the story of the movie proper after the title drop. Where we make it to like On the Run, by the way, for all of this. On the Run being played over top of like Rafiki lifting up the new heir to the throne. Not that great of a sync, honestly.
Nah.
Anyway.
If it had happened like a couple seconds earlier when Pink Floyd sing High You Fly, it could have been kind of cool. But
that would have been good, but no. We got Scar, key antagonist, grabbing a little mouse and lamenting that he'd never be king. He won't become king now that Simba is born. He is Simba's uncle and Mufasa's brother. We need to talk about, actually, this movie is very, very similar to Hamlet, the Shakespearean play. In fact, like, it's almost like a fully Shakespearean story, right? The whole, like, a coup, like a royal coup occurs for this, is the key main plot of this movie. And it's pretty wild that that's the story for a kid's movie. It's good, though. It's a very classic kind of story. It feels very Shakespearean throughout. But yeah, and also having us introduced like from go, we have that intro of all the animals, and then our first like dialogue is from the antagonist, from them setting up their motivations and stakes right at the top. That's very Act 1 Shakespeare as well, like Merchant of Venice kind of feeling. It's good.
Yeah, and then also to bring in the full Shakespearean grandeur of Jeremy Irons voicing Scar.
Oh my God. One of the best performances of all time. He's so malevolent, so terrifying. Scar, like, himself is just like top 10 best villain ever. Like, so like threatening and conniving and scary. It's great.
But just like such a simple, like, he feels like he's
jilted.
Yeah, it is exactly Hamlet. He just wants his play for the throne because he feels like he deserves it more.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh.
He's been second in line this whole time, and now Simba's on the scene, and he feels like he will never get the chance because now there's a new heir in his way, and so he's frustrated and sad. He didn't go to the this anointing ceremony. He's like just hanging out in the cave. I just also love his visual look. Scar. He's like a dark orange with a black mane and like these green eyes. He's so like, it's such good classic Disney character design. It reminds me a lot of like their adaptation of Robin Hood as well. They had a lot of really great character design in that movie, and like this is like leaning from that, I think.
Yeah, this is how iconic he is he's inspired the number one meme in my family.
Whoa.
My whole life, ever since I saw this movie, came home, obviously talked about it nonstop because I was full of sour worms.
Yeah.
My whole life, every time I would complain that something wasn't fair in the house, like, it's not fair, I don't get to eat a sandwich for dinner. It's not fair, I have to go to bed, but the Drew Carey show has just started. Like, every time I'd get that, my parents would turn around to me and they'd go, life's not fair. Gareth Dwayne will never be king.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ruthless. You got scarred, bro. Oh,
yeah. Man. Looking back, maybe a bit weird to tell your kid they'll never be king. But, I mean,
keep them humble. I respect it.
I mean, I'm not related to any king, so there was no chance of me growing up to be a king.
like it.
Although my grandmother's maiden name is King, so do with that what you will.
There was a chance. You were in line for the throne at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, what a story. And then my grandmother chose love instead, and she's no longer the king.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's called the Blackclick King.
Yeah. It gets even more the royalty in my family gets even stranger because my mum's maiden name is Laird, which is a rank below a lord. So as the family, married closer and closer to having me as a child, they were moving themselves further from royalty.
Oh, peasant Gareth.
Yeah, exactly. I'm furthest from the throne.
Gareth Bigger.
Yeah, Gareth Bigger.
Oh. Oh well. You've earned your way. You built your way back up, Yeah. Imagine the life you would have had if they said you will one day be king, every time, and just gave you what you want. That's how you get a little Dursley,
Yeah.
It's not how you get a good son. So I respect.
Well, I'd become a Scar, really. I'd be looking at Prince Charles and being like, how can I overthrow you? Because I'd believe I'm meant to be king. It'd be way too much hard work.
Just have a beef with Prince Charles. Just like an 8-year-old trying to plotting to take him down.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
I have once stood 2 feet away from Prince Charles, so...
Whoa, what?
Yeah. That was my perfect chance.
That was your time to strike.
Kidding. Yeah. The wildebeest start coming through the city centre of Christchurch.
Oh my God. The plan.
An 8-year-old with all his wildebeest, he's shipped to New Zealand.
Yeah. Prince Charles has been knocked off a podium and you just dig your little child fingernails into his hands and let him fall.
Yeah.
Oh God. Brutal. Anyway.
I feel I'm going to get investigated now for that roof.
Yeah, maybe. Look out. Gareth investigated by Buckingham Palace due to episode 99 of a show. Crash sound and on the run as Scar slinks away here. Not really a sync, but that's where it be. We got the clocks and time coming in and it's just raining. The rains are coming to Africa. I bless the rains down in Africa. And Rafiki's doing a little painting of this prophecy of Simba. I do love this little, I think this was on the poster, the little drawing that he does of baby Simba cub on his tree. It's a very good symbol. Yeah, I think it was just this and the words The Lion King.
It would make such a cool tattoo.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
As you get older, you put like the mane on it as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Evolution of the tattoo. I like it. Yeah. So Simba like goes and is now like a more of a active cub, grown up a bit, and is waking his dad up for some kind of like adventure that they want to go on. Mufasa takes Simba out to survey the kingdom. He says the classic, like, everything the light touches is our domain, like that kind of thing. But he also, Mufasa talks about like mortality and that someday his time in the sun will be over and the sun will rise with Simba as the new king. The Lion King is very much concerned with the circle of life and this concept of being reborn and the balance of nature and everything being tied together. So like living and dying and the animals existing in a balance.
Heavy stuff for a kid's movie.
Definitely.
Which I love.
Absolutely. Like probably it's quality advice, honestly. Don't live beyond your means. Look after nature. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pretty ahead of its time, I would say. Anyway, he does indicate a shadowy area in the distance, which is a place beyond the borders of the Pride Lands, which Simba must never go there. Too dangerous.
In a way, it's like the dark side of the moon, you know?
Sure.
Simba can't go there either. He doesn't have a spaceship.
Yeah, never venture there. Too dark. Yeah. Too dark, that side. Simba's still curious about that, obviously. Zazu comes in with like a morning report. Zazu, played by Rowan Atkinson, by the way.
Yeah.
Honestly didn't even put this together as that it was played by him while I was a kid. Never was like, oh, that's Mr. Bean. Like, never happened.
Because you never hear Mr. Bean speak, and in this version you never see Mr. Bean or see Rowan Atkinson.
It's true.
So they're two incredibly separate people, unless you're one of the kids who grew up with Blackadder and got to see it together.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was many years before I realised I was dealing with Mr. Bean.
All my bean heads out there. The true beaners.
Yeah. Mr. Beak.
Oh, there he is. Zazu, Mr. Beak. I like it. They have like a pouncing lesson here, teaching your cub how to be a lion, that kind of classic stuff. I do like Zazu's line, cheaters never prosper. Very funny.
A lot of puns very deeply hidden in the mix that we get to enjoy now with subtitles.
Just for the adults, paying attention. Pretty fun stuff. However, Mufasa is like summoned away because hyenas have been spotted in the Pride Lands, and Mufasa goes to investigate, leaving Simba to be taken home by Zazu. Bit of a weird thing about this movie. Hyenas are like the baddies represented, but they're also presumably should be part of the circle of life. Sort of a little bit unfair to paint them as this like dastardly group of criminals or whatever, In fact, I'm pretty sure that this movie had a really bad effect on hyena conservation efforts.
Why does every movie I hate hurt the animals? I mean, every movie I love hurt the animals.
I mean, it brought an interest in conservation in general for animals. So that's a positive. But it painted hyenas in particular as baddies. And so, of course, people being impressionable idiots decided that hyenas were baddies because of this movie. So, not great. But anyway.
Hyenas are so cool.
They're very cool.
About their terrible posture, I relate to. I love it, dude.
So oh my God. If I was an animal, I'd probably be a hyena just by the...
Yeah, honestly.
I've got a horrible laugh and bad posture.
Same bestie. And I also will eat everyone's scraps, much like the noble hyena.
Oh man, we're just a couple of bloody hyenas on this podcast having a good old time,
Yeah. We're laughing away at our own jokes, eating the scraps that cinema has thrown us.
Exactly. Join the club. They have a lot of fun in the movie, I think. I have a lot of affinity for the hyenas in this movie.
Yeah, their personas, they're everything. I love them so much.
We're in time solo now. and Simba goes and speaks with his uncle Scar about he's come back from this adventure where he's learned he's next in line for the throne, and he's just innocently talking about this with Scar, with not knowing that Scar is basically being tormented by him.
Yeah.
Being like, isn't that cool? If I'm king, what will that make you? And he's like, fucking king. Yes, so Scar very malevolently lets Simba know he's playing the part of concerned but friendly uncle here, because Simba brings up the dark area that he wasn't allowed to go to, and he lets him in on the knowledge that this is an elephant graveyard. Which you hear the words elephant graveyard and you're gonna be curious. That's a wild location, and yeah. But Scar makes him promise not to go there, and he's like, remember, it's our little secret, Simba runs off immediately to go and investigate this. He goes and sees his best friend, Nala, who's a little lioness growing up, getting a bath from her mum, getting licked.
And turned upside down by the licks. It's so cute.
The powerful cat tongue. Getting involved. They trick their parents into saying they're going to the watering hole, but Zazu has to go with them as chaperone, look after the young prince. So he's flying up overhead as they go along. And
I love him being as soon as we get to the water hole, the sooner we can leave.
Yeah.
Which is, just to bring up my wonderful grandmother again, kind of how she is about visiting. She'll show up and it's well, it's time for me to go. Nana, you've just started sipping your cup of tea.
Your tea is still warm, Nana. I respect it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm starting, the older I get, the more I'm like that. It's can't wait to leave.
Yeah, I get it. Just doing the obligation of visiting, you're you got to hang out for X period of time, and it's just boy, when you get older, it's tough, harder to keep up, Oh man!
Honestly, the last time I went to a nightclub, which still would have been 2 years ago, I was well, I've had one dance.
Yeah,
kind of time to leave.
I've finished my gin and tonic. I'm looking around. Everyone else is doing shots. I don't want to do any shots.
Yeah. Boy, I've used literally all the energy my old bones have dancing to one song.
Yeah, time to go,
gang.
Tuck into bed. Yeah, man, we're old curmudgeons already.
Yeah.
So it goes. Know thyself. And accept thyself, honestly. Just recognize that's spend your time on what matters, I think. Balloon Girl. So Zazu comes down and talks to Simba and Nala. He says that they're betrothed, which is, I guess, how it works in the Lion Kingdom. It's sort of this fiefdom sort of scenario happening where where they're betrothed to be together in the future. And she's like, we're friends, that'd be weird. Which is good. I like that. And then we have another musical number, Just Can't Wait to Be King, which is really great colors in this sequence. Everything gets sort of washed different primary colors. For this.
So the elephants are red, and I think the cheetahs are kind of pink, and the monkeys are blue.
Yeah, it's fun, just for the musical number as well.
Yeah.
It's a very fun wee song, culminating in this massive tower of animals, in making how to describe it? Sort of a big Broadway number where they're all stacking and doing a human pyramid, but it's all animals, and making patterns, the necks of the giraffes and the anteaters shooting out their weird little tongues.
Yeah, I forgot that anteaters pop in until I watched it with Pink Floyd, and I was like, animals are cool.
Yeah, man.
That's kind of all I had to say.
It's true.
Yeah,
but yes.
The Lion King official, well, hopefully official, the Lion King magazine that you could get in the 90s. You'd get a subscription, you get a big binder, every issue of it. you'd get facts about the animals and like a lot of African folklore, which was really cool.
That's sick.
Yeah, learn about Anasi and stuff like that, the trickster god.
Whoa.
But it followed this as its design for the whole magazine. So it'll have a cartoon cheetah giving you facts about real cheetahs, but it'd be coloured a bit wrong and like the big red elephants and stuff. Which
That's
was
awesome.
like, yeah, very interesting. Like, hey, we'll just follow this, like keep this going.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke kind of thing. Yeah.
Very nice. I like that visual design choice. It's like, it makes it even more fun, you know?
Yeah.
And sort of like paints it outside of reality as well. They get to like play around with like more cartoony elements when they do this. Like for most of the movie, I would say it's like pretty grounded in reality in spite of being a cartoon. Like everything's like proportionally correct and things like that. Like there are more like animated characters like Timon and Pumbaa are both like a pretty beyond belief in terms of how they portrayed, right? But the rest like are very like there's the animals aren't like walking around on their hind legs like you know like they would in Shark Tale. And said with such contempt.
I feel like this is what the 2019 version needed, was just like a little bit of a jump into an anti-reality kind of fun universe and then kind of jump back.
Yeah.
And just know that it could do that.
Yeah. That would have lightened the mood a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that the CGI, I haven't seen it, like I said, but I would assume that the CGI would make the Lion King much more of a drama. Just because it
feels heavy,
way too real. You know, for the scenes that are coming up, like, don't know how I would handle it. Yes, this song culminates with the massive tower of animals falling over and Zazu getting flattened under a rhino's big bottom, and the kids managing to like get away and run off to where they want to go, which is the elephant graveyard. Yeah. So as we get into like Great Gig here over the course of this song as well, and then we go to this elephant graveyard, which is a terrifying location. I remember the video game of The Lion King. This was a pretty sick level where you like had to jump up and down on these. You'd slide around on the tusks of the elephants with like big slides. Yeah, pretty spooky. This was for, I believe, Sega Genesis back in the day.
That's like the one piece of Lion King merchandise I've missed out on.
Oh, it was a good game. But in fact, most of those early Disney like platformers were pretty great. This one and the Aladdin one were like top tier, I would say. Very, very true to the movie and also just very fun games in their own right. So well worth a visit if you can. Yeah, it's just a sick location. Like it's very terrifying as a concept. Just like thousands of bones of dead elephants. Unclear if this is real to real life, if elephant graveyards exist. But if they do, damn, scary. Yeah, just lots of these giant skulls and bones and stuff. It's great for this next sequence where we go into money here after Great Gig, and this trio is accosted by another trio of the hyenas coming in, who are Banzai, Shenzi, and Ed, I think.
Yeah.
Banzai is a weird choice for a name, I must admit, but
they rename him and they rename Ed in the remake to actually give them proper African names, because that was a
good call.
Especially like Ed, you get because it's like, okay, fine, it's like the set up expectation and then break it in terms of the.
That's fine. Banzai, don't know, different implication.
Silly.
Yeah. Anyway, they are this like threatening trio, but I like them as a presence because they get lost in telling their own like jokes about the situation, which is like a great concept for a villain. Like it plays into the whole hyenas laughing thing, them being like comedians at heart and bickering with each other. Like they sort of got like a Three Stooges kind of element going.
Very classic kind of comedy, and played by like iconic comedy figures of Whoopi Goldberg and Cheech Marin.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, they wanted both Cheech and Chong. Tommy Chong to play the hyenas, but they were like having a rift at the time. So then
Really?
they went and got bloody Oscar winner Whoopi Goldberg instead.
Yeah. Good choice, honestly. Like, I think Whoopi like nails it as like our main representation of the hyena. I feel like she pulls further ahead than Cheech's performance, but like both good. Yeah. A lot of they have a lot of fun.
Huge shout out to Ed, who the actor Jim Cummings like recorded 2 hours worth of laughs.
Yeah.
Just like non-stop and then they just cut them together like when they needed them.
So good. Oh, what a fun day at the office that would be.
Right? Nah, love these hyenas. They are also amazing in the Broadway show. Like,
I believe it.
They're kind of, they're puppeted kind of with their big, awful posture, kind of leaning in front of the actual actor. And yeah, they've got these big wooden faces.
Nice.
So cool.
I imagine they would have the best fun in Broadway. Like, this kind of character always has, like, their time to shine, much more so in a play, I think. This, like, like almost comic relief, but like antagonistic character. I think there's those kinds of characters have the most fun in like Broadway shows.
Yeah, even the Zazu in the Broadway. No, not Zazu, but like the Zazu in Lion King on Broadway is amazing. He was actually, when I saw it, my like hero of the piece. He's so good.
Hell yeah.
But Iago in Broadway's Aladdin. Gosh, I've seen some Disney Broadway. I didn't realize I was so cultured.
You're an aficionado.
Iago in Disney's Aladdin on Broadway also like has a hoot of fun. Which, considering he's kind of a less like theatrical character than these guys.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Great stuff.
I feel like that's the only 2 Disney Broadways I've seen. Broadways. Yeah.
I, of course, as you know, have seen the Avatar Cirque du Soleil performance. That's as close as I'm going to get. So that's how cultured I am, deep down.
Good on you. Yeah. Man, are you hyped that if Avatar 2 actually comes out, there might be a second Cirque du Soleil show?
You better believe it. I'll be there. I'll be participating in the like using your phone for mixed media in the audience. Oh, so much fun. Anyway, so yeah, they sort of tell these jokes and get distracted from what they're doing and let the cubs get away. Zazu gets caught and like shoved into like a geyser. A lot of like volcanic activity occurring in the elephant graveyard where these baddies hang out.
Do you reckon that's why it's an elephant graveyard? It's not the elephants buried other elephants there, but like volcanic activity killed a bunch of elephants.
I hope not.
Hyenas just hang out there.
Brutal.
That's dark.
It is.
Yeah, sorry.
So so he gets like shot off like a rocket by being suspended over like a geyser or whatever. They manage to escape, but they get cornered, and Simba tries to like ward them off by roaring, but he's just a little cub, just a wee cub, and he can't scare them off. And so he tries again, and then Mufasa's roar comes in like over top of his one, scaring the hyenas, and then he comes in and like pins all the little hyenas who are like, oh shit, sorry Mufasa, we didn't know, and then they run away. So Mufasa scolds the kids and like escorts them back home. And as we leave this scene, we see that Scar is also here, like watching from on high, watching this play out with a grumpy old face. So we're still in Money's solo here, and we're like walking back to Pride Rock as the sun sets, and there's this really, really great shot in this where Simba puts his paw inside the paw print of his dad, being like, I can't measure up to, it's like literally filling his shoes, right? Yeah. Is the idea. It's just a good visual. It's like, all this stuff is just so classic. It like barely requires me to explain it.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Like that was how they got everyone pumped for the remake, was just show that again.
Oh yeah.
People were like, yep. We're
it's
here.
Just such a clear, perfect symbol that just feels so obvious when you explain it, but like watching it's not at all like contrived. You're just like, oh yeah, hell yeah. You're on board with it. It's just, I don't know. The Lion King's such a simple story, but like it's so effective and so perfectly done. It's very difficult to find fault with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he like scolds his son. He's like, you disobeyed me and you put yourself and Nala in danger. And he doesn't like grill him. He says like he was scared for them. And Simba's like, but you're so brave. And he's like, yes, but I'm only brave when I have to be. That's what being a leader is. It's really sweet, this like concept of him being this like powerful king, but he was truly scared that he would lose his son, you know? Yeah.
It's a nice little early takedown on masculinity for us all, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They sort of they have a bit of a play together out here under the night sky, and they talk about the stars as we like trail out of money, going like the giving none away. Talking about the stars representing the great kings of the past, looking down and guiding them as kings. He says like, I'll always be with you, you know. And from here, we cut back to the chasm and the elephant graveyard with the hyenas, who are all arguing about their failure today, to get the cub, and they're like, who needs fucking lions? They suck anyway. Hyenas in this film, they say that they're at the bottom of the food chain because they're scavengers, you know. And they're and lions are at the top, and so they hate them for that. Is the hierarchy here? But Scar is on the side of the hyenas here. They're his peons. It's revealed. He's so mean to them. He's he calls the hyenas idiots all the time throughout this whole sequence. Half of his song here is just him saying that he's surrounded by idiots, but listen up, here's the plan. Which of course we have now. Be Prepared is Scar's song. A perfect villain song.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Such
a banger. And so it's so sinister is my favorite thing about Be Prepared. Yeah. It's not overly bombastic until right at the end. It starts with this very low sort of rumble, which is just so good. And it's all shot with this green smoke. The use of green representing the evil here of Scar.
Yeah, and the jealousy.
Yeah. It's really good. It's a really, really great sequence. Also vague motif of him being an army general, as we see the hyenas marching in formation and looking up to him as if they're soldiers preparing for war. Very good stuff. Very scary.
Yeah. It's really interesting. So this song, obviously amazing Jeremy Irons vocal performance.
Yeah.
But he threw his voice out while singing it. You can actually hear, later in when it gets bombastic, you hear his voice start to, croak. And then other parts of the song are sung by the guy who voiced Ed.
Really?
He, stepped in, yeah. He was like, well, I've done 2 hours of laughter. Oh, you guys need me to sing one of the most iconic future musical numbers? Yeah,
great effort. Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's a lot. He does throw himself into the song, and I respect that.
Oh yeah.
You gotta. He's not a typical musical actor, right? This is got not. Shades of Mamma Mia happening. You know. Yeah. So you got to respect.
Maybe that's why Pierce doesn't try very hard in Mamma Mia, is because he was scared of
Jeremy Irons' lesson.
Yeah, maybe. Because the voice of Ed was just waiting in the wings, trying to steal his role.
Yeah, there you go.
Because Jim Cummings, the voice of Ed, then went on to play Scar in every other Disney thing.
Wow,
up until obviously the recent remake, like,
And
and all the, like, I don't know, when Scar shows up in Disney's House of Mouse, it's all Jim Cummings.
okay, I mean, I imagine that's probably because they couldn't get old mate Jeremy Irons back. I imagine he's pretty expensive. So, but anyway, yes, it's great. This song like is talking about the grand coup plan that he's gonna betray Mufasa and Simba, etc. It ends with the rocks of the ground breaking apart and skyrocketing him into the sky on this like huge tower of rock with like the gas and smoke rising around him. It's such a sick visual, ending with like this tower of hyenas all singing together, with Scar at the top, surrounded by this crescent moon. Looks rad, just as a shot. Love it. What a good bad guy. Holy shit. And so from here we go into the plan, the big scene in the chasm here. Scar leads Simba down into this chasm, saying that there's a surprise for him, a wonderful surprise. Just leaves him here to hang out at this little rock with a tree. And he says, "Oh yes, the surprise, it's to die for." And you're like, okay.
You gotta. If you're the villain, you gotta.
You gotta do it. And yeah, we pan up from the chasm to see all the wildebeest out here grazing, just like huge numbers of them. And the hyenas are hanging out in wait. And yeah, Scar like appears, giving them the signal to start chasing the wildebeest. Simba is like practicing his roar on a little chameleon. I love this nonplussed little chameleon who's just going about his day. He's just a real animal that has wandered in to the scene.
The cartoon world.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck's sake, all these talking animals. I just want to do my thing. But we hear these, Simba's roar. He's practicing it and it like echoes throughout the chasm, and he thinks that he like alerts these wildebeest who start like charging down the side of the chasm, which is a terrifying like image. It's like very like fucking Gandalf at Helm's Deep with all the hyenas. No, not the hyenas. The hyenas chasing these wildebeest down the side. It's very scary. This whole sequence is truly scary. You feel the real danger of these charging animals, you know? It's very well done. We go into Any Color You Like as like Scar comes and alerts Mufasa and Zazu that Simba's in danger. And so they rush in to try and save him. And yeah, of course, Mufasa being like a bigger lion gets like pretty badly trampled as he's trying to save Simba. He like manages to carry him away from the herd in his mouth, but like is just being taken away by the tide of these wildebeest. And yeah, it's very dramatic. Mufasa like leaps out of these beasts and starts climbing up the side of the cliff. And I don't know, it's hard to say here. Simba's like view gets obscured here. He can't see what takes place at the top of the cliff, which is just as well. But Mufasa like calls up to Scar, who's at the top of the cliff, and he's like, "Help me, brother." And Scar digs his claws into Mufasa's paws here and says, "Long live the king," and throws Mufasa to his death. Brutal. Awful. Full murder in a children's movie. Unheard of, I would say.
Well, other than like a Bambi and all that kind of...
true, yeah, actually.
I think, Disney had... up until very recently, everybody had at least one dead parent in every Disney movie?
Man, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not it happens on screen or not, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I guess it adds stakes, right? Like you're building this this narrative, like having this dead parent figure is like you're allowed to deal with loss.
Yeah. Just speaking of evil, I think my landlords upstairs are apparently crawling through the crawl space. So if any of that is picked up on the microphone, I apologize.
They're trying to stop the show.
Yeah, they're trying to break through.
Oh, God. Wow. Okay.
Actually, you'll find it's very effective storytelling that Disney do that. And rent's going up because you said that.
Oh, no. Don't disparage Disney in front of your landlords. Gosh, they'll come for you. Through the walls, apparently.
Yeah.
Man. Terrifying.
Sorry.
Keep us updated as to how that goes, please.
Well.
Yes, so the herd passes by and Simba, like, goes down and searches the chasm for his dad and, like, the dust that has been kicked up by the animals, and finds him dead under the broken tree branch that he was dangling from, right at the end of Any Color You Like, heading into brain damage here. Yeah, it's super sad. He tries, like, to wake up his dead dad and then, like, hides under his arm. It's really tragic.
It's honestly so heartbreaking. I can't believe me as a 3-year-old got through it in the cinema.
Yeah, this. I had no idea. Like when, like I watched this movie like religiously, like over and over and over again. But I genuinely have no idea what my reaction would have been at the time. I wish I asked like my parents actually before recording what like how this scene affected me, because they would know better than me. It's like, oh yeah, James, you cried for like a month. You know, I imagine it was something to that effect.
Yeah. Oh, have I told you about the fox and the hound incident?
No.
It's like mum went out for the night, so dad was in charge, and like obviously like my parents would split the taking care of quite a lot, but I imagine like the pressure's probably a little on when you're the only parent taking care of the kids. Yeah, for sure. So dad rents The Fox and the Hound, another Disney classic. Yeah. Which also decides to break your heart, but it does it a minute in, essentially. And we could not stop crying. We didn't finish the movie.
Oh, no.
Like, we barely even started the movie, and then we just had to go to bed, like... Just there was no other option. Just these kids have exhausted themselves from crying. You guys, we're just going to have to go to bed and start over a new day. And shit, like, man. I still have never finished that movie because, like... Wow. I just don't want to risk it again. I've got other stuff to do.
All right. Fair enough. Man, here's me noting that down for a future choice because I want to see what it does. Gosh, shouldn't have told me that, man. Oh, that's wild. I understand though completely exhausting yourself because as a kid you just like don't have that kind of control of your emotions at all. Just like knocking yourself out because you're so tired from being so upset. Oh man.
I imagine that's why, like, I haven't cried in a movie for, like, maybe... There was, like, 10, even 20 years in between. It's only recently I've started being able to do it again. Wow. Shout out to Jaws. Like, maybe I just had overdone it. I just ran out of movie-related tears for 20 years, and now I'm back.
Yeah. You just got it all out of your system with Fox and the Hound. Yeah. Maybe.
Oh. I'm back at it, though. I cried in Everything Everywhere All at Once, so...
Oh, good.
The boy's back.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait to see
that. The bowling boy is back.
Oh, that's good. We welcome him back. Speaking of bowling boys, Simba's very sad, calling out for help. No one comes until bloody Scar comes down and says like, what have you done, Simba? Yeah. He like blames him for his own father's death and like says like, you've got to run away and never come back. You can't face your family again. Brutal. And tells the hyenas to chase after him. And Simba's like chased out of the kingdom. Tumbling down like the side of a cliff into some like thorns, like widespread African bramble. Don't know what's going on here. But the hyenas like give up because they don't want to go through the bramble patch. Fair play. They say that he's good as dead out here because he's like just a little lion cub. He'll take care of himself. Yeah.
And they'll just get him if he ever comes back.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're like at the end of the album as well for this like dramatic ending. Scar addresses the rest of the lions, say that this tragic loss of both Mufasa and Simba, and he will reluctantly take the throne. And he like introduces this new era where lion and hyena will live together as Eclipse is rolling in. We see like just the hyenas existing as like shadows behind him. And Rafiki is like very upset at the end of this playthrough, wiping the image of Simba that he painted on the tree away with his hand. And we like cut from that symbol of Simba to Simba just like lying in the middle of like a cracked plain of desert of rock, with like vultures circling above him. And that's where we have like the heartbeats between the albums. It's like, it's real dramatic at the end of this playthrough, you know? We sort of finish one half of the movie perfectly with this one playthrough, which is nice. Heartbeats between the plays, going back into Speak to Me, and we get Timon and Pumbaa on the scene. Real comic relief characters, these boys. Nathan Lane as Timon, of course, iconic performance, and Ernie Sabella as Pumbaa. These two dudes, loving it.
I feel like they'd just done a Broadway show together, so the chemistry was boiling.
Yeah, ablaze. These guys just loving it. Dynamic duo, Timon and Pumbaa. They're the C-3PO and R2-D2 of this movie. Name a more iconic duo, I'll wait. They're good, good lads.
This was like the one bit of effort they put into the 2019 one. As I already said, Billy crushes it. But Jon Favreau made Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen like practice all their lines in a like black box theater to get that kind of old school theater vibe.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Again, such a like weird amount of effort for the movie where everyone else took no risks.
Yeah.
I think he only wanted to make a Timon and Pumbaa movie, maybe.
Fair enough. Who wouldn't? They had their own TV show, I remember. That was probably the one other piece of like extraneous Lion King media that I enjoyed, the Timon and Pumbaa TV show. It was pretty formulaic, you know, just like them sort of getting into scrapes in order to try and like do schemes, sort of like a Pinky and the Brain kind of thing. 100%. In that kind of vein, I remember enjoying it though. It had the same, it had a great like intro song. I think it was just the Hakuna Matata like reprise basically.
It was Hakuna Matata, but they went like Hakuna Matata, Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah. Just the boys.
I feel like I never actually watched it on TV or watched it, except there was a VHS of the show with 4 episodes that was always playing at the kids' room of popular family eatery Valentine's.
Oh my god.
New Zealand. Like that. Did you ever go?
Of course I went to Valentine's as a Kiwi kid. It was a regular like kids' birthday occurrence where people would go to Valentine's. It's for those outside of New Zealand, Valentine's is like a buffet restaurant renowned for being incredibly cheap and kid-friendly. It has had a recent resurgence and is back.
No way!
Yes.
I'm going.
I don't think you should. I think it's as bad as it always was. But now, like, there's also only one. I do remember getting traffic light drinks at Valentine's, which were just like 3 different colored like fizzy drinks or something. I have no idea how they do it, but
like 100% designed to make a child throw up.
Oh yeah, just so much food
pure
dye.
Syrups. Yeah. Oh man, okay. 2 things is the kids' room of Valentine's definitely had a metal tree in it that you could climb and watch. Timon and Pumbaa on VHS.
Sure did.
And I feel like there were so many of those restaurants back in the 90s.
There were a lot.
Family eatery with a ball pit and a metal tree and a TV and a buffet.
That has
and like,
definitely
now I feel like
disappeared.
I don't see any.
Yeah. that as a concept no longer exists, I think, because people now realize that was a bit shit, I think. Like, you would just... it's difficult, to take your kids to, like, a family-friendly restaurant. The issue is that, like, everything else sort of has to suffer to accommodate children in, like, a fairly significant way. So I don't think they have lasted past the 90s. It was, like, a cool idea, but I don't know if they were... like a practical business model. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah. I feel like there's some research we could do there as to figure out why that didn't last.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that I'm all about cold emailing professors and getting them on the show, maybe this turns into a 10-part investigation on the rise and fall of the family-friendly eatery.
Yeah. My theory is that it's been replaced by fast food restaurants. Like, it was impossible to compete with, like, the McDonald's and Burger Kings and things like that of the world. And that, like, they're providing, like, cheap as fuck food and also, like, have that, like, they're already practically the level of Valentine's, right? Just by sheer, like, design and appeal to kids in that way. So they were like, all right, we can do a ball pit. We can do, like, a venture playground or whatever, you know? Like... we can buy
and by having the food so quickly arrive to you, then, you know, the kids immediately can go through the ball pit, be in and out in like half an hour.
Exactly.
Whereas, like, like a Valentine's, you're going to get covered in, like, spaghetti sauce, hit the ball pit, throw up your traffic light drink because you've been there for an hour, need to go to bed.
It had the classic issue of, like, all buffets and that, like, everyone's going too far. The level of excess involved in a buffet, it always kind of grossed me out. Not a big fan. Sorry, buffets of the world.
No, you're totally right. Like, and then just like piling a plate with like all these foods that should never go together.
No,
eating until you're sick, and then jumping in a pit full of plastic balls and exercising.
Yeah, it's another thing that I feel like I've grown out of. The whole buffet thing is just like so much waste goes involved. Anyway,
maybe once this show like sails off into the distance after its brief stint as an investigative journalism podcast, I'll fill my podcast studio with balls, and it's just my little ball pit.
Oh God, yeah, could be.
Yeah, I need something to spend probably 6 hours a week on instead of the show. Why not just swim around in my ball pit?
Desperately trying to access the things inside your closet, but you've got to like maneuver through waist-high plastic balls.
Because we often record this show like late at night.
Yeah.
And then the next day when I have to get ready for work, I have to go past like the chair and my notes and the microphone equipment and all that to get to my like socks.
It's your real stuff.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm often so sleepy because I've been up blabbering about Under the Silver Lake.
Sorry, not sorry, Gareth.
No, this is the life we chose.
Yep, exactly.
And speaking of choosing a new life, Timon and Pumbaa introduced Simba to their philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. It means no worries, Gareth. Literally, I'm pretty sure.
Direct translation.
Yeah, I like it as an idea. It's funny to have a song about not caring about stuff and just relaxing. It is a good vibe. That truly is Timon and Pumbaa's philosophy, and that's what they're about. They're just living their lives. They're not worried about the kingdom or any kind of thing going around out there. They're just doing what they can, and that's all right. As part of the song, Simba he gets introduced to more of how they live. They eat grubs out here, rustle up some grub. These grubs, these little insects, are beautiful colored and look really appetizing. Never before.
I am so glad you said that. Me as a kid, this is how my parents would get me excited about food.
Yeah.
Because I think I was born to be a vegan. I'm not that excited about food. So they would they pretend that I'm eating insects as a kid to make me interested in eating soup or something.
Yeah, little grubs, little colorful bugs in there, you know? They look
Oh my
great.
gosh.
They look absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
Which is like wild for a movie to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
But
Honestly, Disney's greatest trick. They need to actually get them back on board because they're saying like to help fight climate change is more of our meat consumption needs to be bugs. Like we need to be eating crickets and stuff.
Sure.
Because we can get the same amount of nutrients from much smaller carbon footprint.
Yeah.
Get Timon and Pumbaa back on the case.
Get them on
like,
the marketing
100%.
team.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you get some like Hakuna Matata patties and they're all made out of bugs, like I feel like that's the way to do it.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Little Timon and Pumbaa on the crispy crickets and
exactly
good to go.
I wonder if there's like a restaurant at Disneyland. I've never been to Disneyland or Disney World. I imagine if there's a restaurant there that serves like these colorful insect meals, you too can eat the way of the meerkat. I hope
there should be.
I hope so.
That'd be amazing.
It's a good Disney restaurant. I imagine they're more leaning into the like Beauty and the Beast, like serving like a whole leg of lamb for Gaston kind of thing.
I think you can get a leg of lamb. No, you can get a big turkey leg at Disneyland and walk around with that. That's one of the famous Disneyland weird things.
That's so weird. Oh my God. Like you share it with Goofy or something.
Okay. That's going to be it. With all the proceeds we're going to make from our Animals Are Cool merchandise.
Yeah.
We're going to take a show trip to Disneyland with the sole purpose of giving Goofy a leg of turkey.
Find and feed Goofy is the new mission of the show. Oh, man.
Deal.
He's so hungry.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, gosh. Mickey doesn't feed me. Back at Pride Rock, Zazu is encaged in a little ribcage prison and is singing his sorrows, singing lots of little songs. He sings Lovely Bunch of Coconuts, which is something I always remember from this. I assumed as a child that Zazu invented this song. That he was just a bard of times past. Coming up with the greats. He's the composer of this, the songwriter, sorry.
Yeah.
Of the African Plain. Love him. Yeah.
If Under the Silver Lake had a scene where, and it's amazing that we're talking about one of the most popular movies of all time, but we can't stop thinking about this deep cut A24 movie.
Yeah. That's
if Under the Silver Lake, Andrew Garfield had walked into the room and it was the little hornbill bird playing the piano and singing every song.
Oh my God.
One thing missing.
I wouldn't have put it past that movie.
No, true.
Anyway, there's a new law where Scar won't allow Mufasa's name to be mentioned in his presence. Also, under his regime, the circle of life is out of balance, and it's unclear, but like basically they're running out of food. Like the antelope have moved on, and like there's no grass, and the world is becoming more desolate because he's like thrown the natural order out of balance, I guess, mostly. Yeah, Scar doesn't care about it in the same way that his brother did. In fact, the lionesses aren't like hunting. They're going hungry because they don't respect Scar's leadership and they aren't doing anything to survive. And it's causing all kinds of problems. Bad times. We get the crash sound just here when we're checking in on Pride Rock. Not really syncing again with anything. But yeah. We cut back to the lads, the trio of boys out here, staring up at the stars together as the clocks and time come in, and they're just talking about what the stars could be. Pumbaa, in fact, knows exactly what they are by sheer coincidence, which is fantastic, seeing their like big balls of gas burning very far away.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I think that was a regular joke in the series as well, that he would like nail some kind of like high scientific concept that Timon would have some other kind of explanation for, which was what they went for.
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that might have even been in the magazine, as Pumbaa would explain it perfectly, what you were learning about the animal, and then Timon would have a like far-fetched idea.
Yeah.
I might be completely misremembering that, but I doubt anyone else has read that magazine and can fact check me.
You can't fact check me.
Damn.
Too powerful. Yeah, they ask what Simba thinks, and he reminisces about what his dad said, saying that they're the great kings looking down over them, and they're like, yeah, isn't that stupid? Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And then like Simba gets upset because his past has been brought up. And yeah, he goes over to like a cliff and has like a pensive moment of remembering his great shame. And yeah, it blows up some like leaves and debris, which flow through the air and travel to Rafiki, who like does some mysticism. He like investigates these in his big turtle shell bowl, and he interprets these portents as Simba still alive, and he's like, it's time, and he changes the image of Simba on the tree to have the lion's mane around it. Very cool, very powerful
iconic
scene.
moment. Now it's kind of strange that he says it's time though, isn't it? Like, what does that mean, other than the fact that the bloody song Time by Pink Floyd kicks in exactly as he says it?
Hell yeah, there it is. Like the vocal kicks in when he says it. Yeah,
the vocal that, like, essentially, I mean, if you heard the song in the wild, you might not realize it was time until the vocals kicked in. You'd just be like, oh, some vibey drums. But Rafiki's hearing it and he's letting you know, oh yeah, it's time.
It's time, Pink baby. Floyd. He knows. He can hear. If anyone can hear Pink Floyd in this movie, it's Rafiki, 100%.
Oh,
he's attuned to the syncs. You know? He's attuned to all syncs, all parts of the world. He's a very powerful mystic creature.
We should get the fictional character Rafiki on the show.
Oh my god,
he knows what syncs are way better than us.
That'd be a huge get. I feel like we'd come away from that interview just changed, better people. You know, he knows us better than we know ourselves. Absolutely, he'd set us on the right path.
I mean, it'll be a huge interview because cartoons will finally be real. That's kind of the biggest part of that. We're in a Roger Rabbit situation.
Yeah. Oh, that's the dream.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And now we cut back to the boys again, Timon and Pumbaa singing In the Jungle. The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Another song that I thought that this movie invented, but no. Like another banger track, but no, this one's a real song outside of the movie. Yeah,
this is the best part of the 2019 one, is the performance of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. It's beautiful. Again, Billy nails the singing.
Hell yeah.
And like all the little CGI animals will join in. It's like really cool. Like, again, it's like they could have just made that and it would have been fine.
You would have been on board with
the whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to that version. Like, that's my go-to if I feel like listening to The Lion Sleeps Tonight. I'll put on that version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's interesting that anything tops the original, so that's pretty impressive. Anyway, Pumbaa sneaks up on like a stag beetle, getting a bit of grub on over the time solo, but is pounced on by Nala returning. Who's out for a hunt. And Simba runs in to protect his friend, fights her off, and then it's like, oh shit. And they realize who they are fighting each other. And they sort of reunite and are having an excited moment because Nala obviously thought that Simba was dead this whole time. They like catch up. What Scar's taken over, we find out. And what else has he been saying behind Simba's back, you know? But Nala wants him to return and take up the mantle of king. But Simba no longer wants the responsibility because of the guilt that he feels. He's like, I can't measure up. Still can't measure up to his dad. And so it's like Scar would be a better father, better king than I would be, you know? So, they have like a private chat. They go off for a private chat together as we go into Great Gig for this falling in love song. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? I love that this song starts with like a refrain from Timon saying that their like trio is over. Such a funny way to start a love song. Just being like, shit, our friendship's over because our boy's fallen in love. It's so funny.
It's so good. This was like, I kind of like, obviously because Can You Feel the Love Tonight is such a huge song.
Yeah.
That the most famous version, the Elton John version, obviously doesn't start with like,
No.
oh no, my boy's gonna leave me.
Yeah.
But like, this was when I rediscovered this cassette in high school and like started playing it all the time in my car and on my little boombox.
Nice.
Like, the cassette going 3, 2, 1 punch of Be Prepared, Hakuna Matata, Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Holy shit.
And then end of side 1 because there's no further songs.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then like also just like, I can see what's happening. What? It's so fun to just sing along when you're like, yeah.
These lads.
Just popped your cassette on. Yeah.
So good. But yeah, it's Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Elton John rolling on in. We're getting great gigs vocal instead for this. So a bit bizarre having, of course, the lyrics coming through as subtitles underneath. But like, still very emotional. Probably the most emotional, heightened part of the album. And so that it kind of works. It's not like a fantastic sync, but like I'm glad that it takes place here in the album as opposed to being like Money or something. You know, like, yeah, it's good. It's, in terms of what is happening on screen, it's just like 2 lions falling in love with each other, which is very weird looking back. But yeah, it's, you know.
But also like, I mean, it's a big, amazing bit of empathy from old mate Timon to know like they're going to fall in love when you know, these people haven't seen each other in like, I guess 20 lion years.
He just senses it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like there's nothing before that leading in that they're going to fall in love other than the fact that they're betrothed.
Yeah. Timon just knows. He's figured it out, you know? He's an empath.
Yeah. Timon knows.
Timon knows. That's true. That's his podcast.
Yeah.
He just talks about all the prognosticates about like everything that he knows, you know. He's like, yes, I'm a very wise person. You come to me for advice. It's an advice show with Timon.
And it always ends with him accurately guessing which 2 celebrities are going to date next.
Wow. Yeah. Powerful. That's what keeps you listening, you know. You're like, oh shit. Yeah. And then he's always right. So, you know.
Some argue that it's because he says it that the celebrities then get together.
Whoa.
Like, can you believe it? Timon thinks we should date.
Timon Stradamus.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Timon knows on the Sync Floyd Network 2024.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
Oh man. Is it the Billy Eichner Timon or the other Timon?
It's got to be Nathan Lane,
The Nathan Lane Timon.
But Billy Eichner also takes over, you know, does a few fill-in episodes when Timon's brain becomes too powerful and he has to take some time off.
Yeah, none of his predictions become true.
No.
By sheer it just happens, coincidence. Anyway, this song, they do fall in love, but there's a rift between them still as Nala wants Simba to return to Pride Rock, the obligation for him to become king. But Simba refuses the call again. He still can't, even through this song of them falling in love, this doesn't solve the problem. Can't measure up to his father. And so, even when Nala's saying like Scar's let the hyenas take over and they're running out of food and water and things like that, like even left, in such disarray, he cannot return because he feels like he wouldn't be able to fix it. He instead is saying he's living up to this Hakuna Matata mentality where it's like taken the wrong way, where he's like, there's nothing I can do about it, so why worry, is his interpretation of the Hakuna Matata maxim. Which is not what it's about, mate. It means no worries, not why worry. Anyway, he's using it for the wrong reasons. Anyway, Nala like leaves in a huff, saying that like Simba was their only hope, and that he's not the Simba that she remembers. Very sad. He can't go back. He can't change the past, is what he says. We go into Money, and like Simba has like full like transition to Shakespeare mode. It's like speaking to the stars, calling out to his dead father. saying, like, cursing him for, he says that you said you'd always be there for me, but you're not there for me. And yeah, he blames himself for his father's death. But Rafiki shows up in the tree, like smiling over him and like being an annoying little monkey singing a wee song. Love this guy.
This was his little song about a squashed banana was a song they heard kids singing when they did research. Like they went to Africa to research for the movie.
Cool.
And it was that and Hakuna Matata made it into the final script.
That's sick. Oh man, what a good fact. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, he's just like being this annoying presence with Simba trying to have this like pensive moment to himself. And he's being very wise. Simba asks him like who Rafiki is, and he's like, no, the question is, who are you? You know, and he reveals that he knows that Simba's Mufasa's son, and like a chase happens where he's like trying to like catch up to him as Rafiki's like flying through the old jungle, swinging on vines and stuff.
Yeah.
And Simba's trying to like navigate these like tree roots and vines and stuff, trying to follow him and not get lost. Rafiki like says that like his father is still alive and points to, he like separates some like long grass and points down for Simba to look, and it's a pool of water with Simba's face reflected in it. And he says, Rafiki tells him to like look harder into the pool, and the reflection of Simba changes to that of his father's face, and he says, he lives on within you. You know, the memory of his father continues on with his legacy, you see. And yeah, we get the vision of Mufasa appearing in the clouds. This is another iconic Lion King moment with like ghost spectre dad appearing in the clouds, in the stars, like made up out of them. It looks awesome. He says, you have forgotten who you are, and so you have forgotten me. And he says, you are more than what you've become. Remember who you are. You are my son and the one true king. Powerful words. Very cool. Weird with money playing over top.
Yeah.
The solo of money just roaring in over top of this. Bizarre, but fine. But after this, Simba realizes that he's being a fool and like he has to face his past. He's standing in this field, and he says, going backward means he has to face his past. And as like a great little list, like this is such a good moment in the movie. Rafiki like hits him on the head with his like stick that he's got, and he's like, ow. And he's like, it doesn't matter because that was in the past. And he says, it still hurts. And he says, yes, the past still hurts, but you can either run from it or you can learn from it. And that's up to you. Good stuff. Good stuff, Rafiki. Right? Great lesson about learning from loss. You can either like let it haunt you and let it control your life, or you can learn from it and you can move on, which is, it's really good advice.
This movie is so stacked that this great piece of advice that could be the centerpiece of any other movie is buried, like, is just like placed there next to the iconic scene of Cloud Mufasa. Yeah. And then like, you know, a couple minutes away from the Big Pig song. It's like, anyone, you could build a whole film off any of these ideas, but they're like, chuck them all in, spend it now, there'll always be more.
So good. And so, Simba returns. Goes home with Rafiki like screaming out in happiness as we go into like us and them. He like hoots like a mandrill, obviously, but like is very, very stoked about this. It's great. And we go back to the Timon and Pumbaa who are sleeping happily together. Timon's just like on Pumbaa's belly. Too cute. And Nala appears freaking them out. And then, Rafiki tells them that the king has returned. And they interpret this that Simba's gone back to challenge Scar for the Lion King throne, you know.
Yeah, very good. To be the eponymous Lion King.
To be that Lion King. So we see him racing home through the sand dunes, and he sees the desolation that Scar has wrought across the land, Gareth. The balance of the circle of life destroyed. It's sad, dark scenes of Pride Rock surrounded by desert. Not the lush scene we saw in the intro. Nala catches up to Simba here and says that they she's like, finally cottoned on, have you, basically. Tim, and he's like, yeah, he's here to front up and face what he needs to face. And Timon and Pumbaa come along and say that they'll help out too. They're like, it matters to you, kids, so we've got you. We're backing you. Good lads. And then there's a clean as hell sync here as we are in Us and Them, and we cut to like the second verse where Pink Floyd is singing Black and Blue as these like storm clouds are rolling in to Pride Rock. It's just a perfect sync with the cut, and it's really nice.
And Simba runs in slow-mo across a desert, which is like the first kind of like Pink Floydian moment as well. Yeah, maybe if this film was in slow motion, it would be syncing a little better.
Maybe, yeah. I feel like
that's a different show.
Slow-mo Floyd, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So the plan, Timon and Pumbaa are going to be... Timon are going to create a diversion to distract the hyenas away from the area. They do this like funny little song and dance with Timon doing the hula. Quite bizarre. Very fun though. And Nala goes to gather the other lionesses, and Simba goes to confront Scar. Scar himself up on Pride Rock doing the whole king thing. Audience of hyenas below him. Simba's mother is brought before him, and she reports that the herds of wildebeest have moved on and that there's like nothing left, and they will be forced to leave Pride Rock. And he's like, no, we're not doing that. And she says that Scar's leadership has sentenced them all to death. And she scolds him and says that isn't half the king that Mufasa was. And he like strikes her down. It's just, classic royal bickering. Sad scenes. But this is Simba's grand return. I love that like he enters here to check on his mum after she gets hit, and then like Scar briefly thinks that it's Mufasa returned from the dead. Really good stuff. That's so Shakespeare-y,
The ghosts of my past.
Exactly, yeah. Just come back to haunt him. And but no, it's Simba, and he says, I'm surprised to see you alive. And like he slinks around trying to saying that like Simba's here to retake the throne, but he cannot abdicate because the hyenas think that he is in charge. The Nala returns with the backing of the other lionesses, saying Simba is the rightful king, and Simba like challenges Scar to either step down or fight, and Scar's like, does it have to come to violence? Or should I reveal what happened on that fateful day, Simba? And he says that it was Simba who was responsible for Mufasa's death, and Simba owns it. He owns up to it. Very powerful, because in Simba's mind, he is responsible for his father's death. Scar told him as much, And Scar calls him a murderer, like circling around him and like backing him towards the edge of Pride Rock. It's like a literal backing him into this corner, very dramatic. Backs him over the edge, and Simba is dangling above the grass below is set on fire by a stray lightning bolt from this storm that is rolling in. Very dramatic. Suspended above the flames.
Total like Deus Ex Machina, but like it looks cool.
It looks sick. Very, very dramatic. And it's the same scenes. Like Simba is now dangling in the same way that his father was in front of Scar, and Scar does the same thing. He like digs his claws into Simba's paws, and grand reveal whispers that he was the one that killed Mufasa. Right as we go into Any Color You Like. And then, like, not sure how. It's not clear. This is the least clear part of the movie, but Simba, like, learning this news, like, gets, like, a burst of strength and, like, leaps back up onto the top of Pride Rock and pins Scar down, demanding that he tell them all the truth. Like, it's just the surge of the truth flying into, I guess, empower him.
It's all his insect protein.
Yeah, that muscle strength from eating at Timon and Pumbaa's cafe.
It is wild, like, how quickly things turn around for Scar. Like,
so fast.
Scar has everyone thinking Simba's a murderer, and including Simba, and like has Simba dangling off into above flames.
Yep.
It all could go well, but he immediately decides to give up the big secret.
Yeah, and it's all over from there.
30 seconds.
He gloats, and that's his downfall. You know, he could have let the secret die with Simba, but no, too prideful, and that's his downfall. So there you go.
Advice for us all: if we're killing the king, don't gloat.
No gloating. The classic regicide rule. So the hyenas attack Simba to protect Scar, and there's a battle between the lionesses and the hyenas. And Timon and Pumbaa come in and bravely fend them off as well. They're getting involved. The little meerkat and warthog team up. Love it. These little boys. Even Rafiki getting amongst, using like some Krav Maga kind of stuff.
Yeah, feels very ahead of its time in a like not a great way to just have every character's real good at fighting in your animated feature.
Classic.
Like it feels like something in the post-Shrek era. Really.
Oh yeah, actually, very much so. At least this isn't like a direct reference to like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon or something. Like, you know, it's not quite that level.
Rafiki doing the Matrix.
Yeah, right. Like it could well have been that if there was such a thing to reference at the time, but thankfully not. Anyway, Timon gets like scared and chased into the little cage with Zazu. Which I love, because Zazu's like, let me out, and Timon's like, let me in. Good stuff. But the hyena's like tormenting them in this little cage, and Pumbaa comes in and has like a hero moment saying, they call me Mr. Pig. Charges them down. Classic like Looney Tunes kind of stuff. With like,
although I guess if we've just said about like how, thank God the Rafiki thing isn't a reference to a movie kids won't get, as he does do a "Are you talking to me?" kind of thing.
He does, yeah,
like
taxi driver reference, really weird. Anyway, oh man, they just can't help themselves in the 90s, you know. Just they have to get these references in. There's only this one that I can think of, right? Like Timon is probably the character most likely to do these, Timon and Pumbaa, but like they are sparse. Mostly they're just doing like bits, like old kind of like two stand-ups together rather than like direct referential humor. So
for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
The start.
This is the start. Humor. Yeah, you're right. So during this battle, Scar tries to like sneak away from the fray, but is followed by Simba. We see that more of like Pride Rock is like caught ablaze. The whole area is on fire for this final confrontation. Scar like begs for mercy under Simba. Simba says that he doesn't deserve to live. Brutal. But he won't kill Scar. He gives him the same ultimatum that Scar gave him. He says, like, run away and never return. Yeah, pretty cool. But Scar like does the underhanded villain thing, kicking up some embers into Simba's eyes, and then they have a big slow motion fight over brain damage.
Yeah.
Just two lions battling it out over fire in the background. Hell yeah. And yeah, like does like a reversal and kicks Scar off the cliff, who tumbles down, survives. Yeah. Oh, also previously I skipped over a little tiny bit, but when Scar was begging for mercy, he says that he blames the hyenas, saying that it was all their idea and he didn't want to do any of this. He's just following their orders, underhanded little
Which was
weasel.
the original script. The original script had the hyenas masterminding it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm glad that they switched it, honestly. Scar is the main villain, like being this like little weasel at the end, I think is much better. And yeah, he gets kicked down to the bottom of the cliff, and the hyenas have been betrayed by him in that moment, and so they take care of him. They maul him to death, effectively. We don't see it. It's just done in shadow, but whew, pretty brutal. Like, it's not like Simba that did the killing, but yikes.
Yeah, but there's an amazing part with Ed going into like an evil focused laugh, which is so cool.
Yeah, very, very good drama. As more and more like of the hyenas circle in and close in on Scar, his laugh becoming like cognizant. Scary. Yeah. So yeah, Pride Rock is ablaze, but it is put out by these rains coming in. The storm settles properly and puts the fires out at the end here. And yeah, again, there's no words, I think, for the rest of the movie from here on. It's just all done in silence. I think Rafiki says one thing. He says, I think it is time, he says again.
Of course.
We're not in time this time.
No, dang it, Rafiki, you're doing so well.
Yeah. But yeah, he indicates to the top of the rock, and Simba, in the pouring rain, climbs back up to the top of Pride Rock and lets out a roar. Yeah. Very dramatic. Very oh God. No, I can't remember. That movie where the guy escapes prison. You know the one.
Oh, Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption. The triumphant calling out in the rain kind of thing,
Oh, yeah. Probably similar time. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I remember I watched both those movies one Christmas day.
Oh, Shawshank Redemption into Lion King?
All the way around, yeah.
All right.
They're both just on TV too.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Both came out in 1994, so
no way.
There you go.
Oh.
So definitely same kind of time.
Something was in the psyche that wanted to see people scream in the rain.
Yeah, Lion King shortly before, so maybe Shawshank Redemption ripped it off. I don't know.
Yeah,
unlikely.
Yeah, it's such a big shot to set up. You're not going to have seen Lion King in cinema, then rush out to film him in the rain.
A good year for dramatic calling out in the rain, though. You got to say. So not much movie left. We just get sort of a reprise of the Circle of Life as the nature returns to the greenery is restored over the landscape over time. Yeah, and we see we get the "See You on the Dark Side of the Moon" call out as part of brain damage when this greenery returns, which is nice. Good little bookend for the movie. And yeah, we see the animals have gathered once again for another celebration as Nala and Simba have had a cub together, continuing the circle, you see. And yeah, Rafiki holds this new child up into the air, and we get the title card again, which is just such a sick little thing. So smart to put it twice, both are in the same, a reprise of the same sequence.
Immediately creating a nostalgia for the start of the film.
Fucking good stuff. That's great filmmaking,
Yeah, so me at 3 years old, obviously I didn't know how to be in a cinema. I didn't know what you were supposed to do. at this point, I was like, what's going on here? Why are they showing the start of the film again? And then I was like, that's not Mufasa, that's Simba.
It's a circle,
that's
baby.
Nala. It's a circle of life. So I yelled out to my dad, Simba's a daddy. And that is also now famous in my family as something people say to me all the time.
Brutal. Oh my God. Wow. How that saying, that innocent childish exclamation, Gareth, how that has shifted in meaning over time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. And when Donald Glover got cast as Simba in the remake, I was like, Simba's a daddy.
Simba's a daddy. Wow.
Oh.
Wowee.
But like the way that's twisted even in my family is the story is now Gareth yelled out Simba's a daddy and everyone in the audience didn't get it either and they started whispering Simba's a daddy like to each other. So like the way it'll go in my family is someone will say Simba's a daddy and then other people will start whispering Simba's a daddy, Simba's a daddy, Simba's a daddy. That boy is right. Simba's a daddy.
Ruthless. There you go. Yeah. You started the trend. You started the movement, Gareth.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's probably my fault they made a remake with Donald Glover,
Well,
Like, people are saying he's a daddy.
People are saying he's a daddy. We need to do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh. So, title card drop right on us going into Eclipse for these credits. So basically 2 straight playthroughs of the album. Pretty damn close to. Which is pretty sick. Pretty cool. Yeah, like with the what did you think? How did it sing? With the with the like the dramatic turn in the movie, obviously right at the center, happening right at the end of playthrough 1, and then going into playthrough 2 for the end of the movie is really sick. Like structurally, I think like pretty impressive in terms of syncs, right? But
yeah,
anyway.
Because when you rewatch this movie, you do realize it is a movie of 2 halves.
Yeah,
so to see Pink Floyd hitting that as well. And I mean, nothing's going to top Rafiki saying it's time when time starts.
He knew. How did he know?
So all of that, like, there was a shame there weren't just more syncs in between.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, I'm feeling like maybe a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think pretty good. Pretty good. Above average.
Yeah.
Happy with a 6 for The Lion King. Cool.
Yeah. We'll check with Rafiki and then we'll post that into the system.
Always check with
check with Rafiki before you mark a sync on a graph.
With our guiding mandrill. Podcast mandrill, Rafiki.
Yeah. Oh, the mandrill of our mantra.
Mandrill of the mic.
Yeah. Let's become rappers.
Yo, I like that.
We'll use our mics for the next episode of this show.
Hey, that's probably a better idea.
Yeah, and it's my pick. And look, we had it all lined up. We were going to finally do an iconic, like 1960s-ish, 1960s sci-fi movie. Yeah. That people have been wanting us to do. But then it happened, James. This bloody film has come out.
Oh.
It has been... I literally had never heard of this film before, and I saw a poster for it. A poster that dared to have the tagline, in 2022, humanity will face the dark side of the moon.
Whoa, okay.
What are we supposed to do with that? We can't just let that slide.
No.
Films are out there baiting us. They're trying to get that Pink Floyd bump now. A film has been dared to be made with that as its tagline.
Holy shit.
Also, same director as Independence Day.
Oh, no.
Which was one of our only 10 out of 10s. So, of course, we're going to have to be syncing next week Moonfall 2022.
Okay.
Have you heard of this movie?
I think I have. I think I've seen one of those... You know how they do the trailers on YouTube ads, which are condensed to only 5 seconds in length? I think I've seen one of those, and that's about it. So, I'm excited to finally figure out what's going on with Moonfall.
Moonfall.
Will it fall? Who's to say?
I don't know. Will we fall in love with Moonfall?
Find out.
Or will we give our listeners a bloody moonful of it?
Oh.
There's one way to find out. And while you wait, you can chat to Sync Floyd about, I don't know, how your week's going in between the episodes. We'll listen. And you can do that at syncfloydpod@gmail.com. You can tweet us, syncfloydpod on Twitter. You can look at all the movies ranked in a beautiful list on our letterbox at syncfloyd. And yeah, until the moon, let the moon fall, let the sky fall, who's to say? Until then, I've been Gareth Bowling Boy Beggar.
I've been James Timon and Pumbaa. Black Baron. I'm both.
And we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
On the dark side of the moon. Goodbye.
Be prepared.
I didn't do it because I don't think I could do a rendition that would be any good, any comparable level to the actual songs in Lion King.
Yeah.
So I was like,
you didn't want to throw out your voice and have Jim Cummings replace you on the show.
That could well have happened, Gareth. It's going if you've been paying attention. I'm like losing it. So yeah. See ya, listeners.
Bye.
Bye.